close the curtains, brew some herbal tea.
Hi everyone, this is Lynn Roberts here in my kitchen, and I'm a holistic health counselor and clinical herbalist. And today I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of calendula flowers as I walk you through how to make a calendula flower-infused oil at home. So let's get started. What you will need is, of course, your calendula flowers, and these are from my garden. Grew this year and dried in my dehydrator. Make sure that they are dry, because when we try to make an oil with any fresh material, it can harbor bacteria and get moldy and rancid on us. So you need your dry calendula flowers. You need a jar. So I'm using a small jar today because I am using a more expensive base oil, which I'll talk to in about a minute. And my jar, I already packed halfway full with my calendula flowers. Of course, you'll need the lid for the jar. You will need your base oil. So today I'm using jojoba oil. Jojoba oil is great because there aren't many people who have allergies to it, and it grows pretty abundantly in the southern states of the United States. And jojoba oil is only one molecule away from the human sebum, or the oil that is naturally in our skin. So our skin very readily accepts it. It can be very moisturizing, even for dry skin or skin that has eczema or psoriasis or dermatitis. So I'm using the jojoba oil today because I like to use a calendula infused oil in part of my skincare routine and my face routine. And on my face, I usually solely use jojoba oil because it's what agrees with my skin, which runs on the drier side. So if you have dry skin, this might be a nice oil for you to infuse your calendula flowers in. I also have with me a hot plate, and this is just a teacup warmer or candle warmer, and it does not automatically shut off. It stays on, and I'll talk about the process in a moment of how we need to heat the infusing oil for about 2 weeks to get a very potent, strong oil. I also have an oven-safe bowl. This is simply just a Corral bowl that will be sitting on the hot plate to compose our hot water bath. And then I just have a little pitcher of water, which I'll show you. You might be like, what do I need water for? If we're making an oil, but it's part of the heating process of the oil. And lastly, I have my chopstick, and this is just going to help me stir around the flowers when I add the oil so that there are no air pockets or dry pockets in there. Okay, so why am I making a calendula infused oil? Unlike essential oils, herbal infused oils are just very easily made at home, and certain herbs are extractable in fat, like an oil, calendula being one of them. So calendula has a lot of resins that are really healthy for our skin. Calendula is actually a vulnerary, and a vulnerary herb is an herb that works on not just our external skin, but also our internal membranes. So the skin in our gastrointestinal tract is very, very similar to the skin that protects our outside. So this, of course, is going to be going on our body, and it's very healing for things like eczema, psoriasis, and dermatitis. It can be used for dry skin and moisturizing. It can also be used for rashes and sunburn. It can be used in first aid kits for bruises and bug bites and stings and burns. So this is just, it grows so abundantly in the garden, And it is just a joy to go out there and to pick them once they open fully, until, you know, and dry them until you have enough to infuse your own oil. Okay, so I'm going to get started. This is such a simple process. It only is going to take about 5 minutes, if that. I'm going to turn the video down to my workspace here. Okay, so I have my jar. It's packed halfway with calendula flower, since it's important that you only go halfway, because as you'll see, the flowers are going to rehydrate and expand when I add the oil. So here's my jojoba oil, and I'm going to add it slowly into my flowers. Now, when I'm a little over halfway, I take my chopstick and just move the flowers around in the oil. Until I'm confident that there are no dry patches in there. And let's continue to add oil all the way to the top. Put the lid on. Hardest part is done. We've added our base oil into our calendula flowers. Now, your oven safe bowl goes on your hot plate. You place your jar in your bowl, and then you add your water close to the edge of the top of your oven safe bowl. And now all we have to do is turn it on. Now, this method of infusing herbal oils is what I call the hot water method. And the hot water method, bath method, is the greatest, because if you infuse your oils just sitting in jars in a sunny window, or just sitting on your counter where it's not really getting any heat at all, for a lot of herbs like calendula, we need the heat to be between 100 and 120 degrees for the medicinal properties we're looking for to be extracted into the oil. So my hot water method, I've tested a few times with a food thermometer at various points of the day, and it ranges between 105 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit at all times. That goes on for 2 weeks. One thing to note about the hot water bath method is that once or twice a day, you need to add some more water into your oven safe bowl, as the water will evaporate, and you don't want that to completely dry out, and then your oil is sitting in a hot bowl on a hot plate, and you can ruin your bowl that way, and your oil can get too hot. If your oil gets over 120 degrees, it risks getting burnt, and we don't want to burn oil either. We want a nice, pleasant smelling oil that has all of the medicinal properties that we are looking for. Just a little bit more about calendula. The Calendula Flower-Infused Oil is not the only way I use calendula in my practice. I also use it in teas and in tincture formulas to work on the gastrointestinal tract, as I mentioned earlier. So calendula oil is very healing for the skin on the outside of our bodies, and then taking it in a tea or tincture formula is very healing for the skin inside of our bodies. It can also be very soothing for the lining of our urinary tract. So if you have an inflamed urinary tract or urinary tract infection, it can be helpful for that. And drinking it as a tea also extracts the flavonoids, like the carotenoids, that give it this beautiful orange color, that are phytonutrients that are really helpful for our health. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to let this baby sit in its hot water bath for 2 weeks. Then what I'll do is I will strain it, and I'll just show you the strainer I use. I use a metal strainer. And all you do is just pour it through your strainer into a bowl. And then you'll take like a wooden spoon and you'll press out your flowers until you feel like you've gotten every drop of oil out of the flowers that you possibly can. And then you'll store your calendula oil in a dark bottle in a cool place, like a cabinet, back of a cabinet, away from the sun so that it doesn't go rancid. And it should last between 3 and 6 months this way. So make sure that you use it to moisturize your body, use it to moisturize your face, share it with friends, and make sure to let me know if you make this calendula flower-infused oil at home. I'd love to see pictures and I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, you can comment or email me with any questions that you may have.